Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and right, the Euro 2020 last 16 is upon us, and the English fans out there will be foaming at the mouth to want German revenge, right? But listen, I know a lot about penalties and revenge. This time 5 years ago, Robbie Brady stuck us 1-0 up against the French. After 2 minutes, it was revenge for Thierry Henry handball. Honestly, if we'd held on and won that match, there would be no HITC Sport YouTube channel, because I'm fairly sure that would have been the pinnacle of my life, and I'd have just combusted into wet fairy dust. Anyway, let's take a look. Some of these games are meaty, tasty ties, as the tournament narrows itself down from 24. And just like any Sweet 16, Adam Johnson is not invited. Right, let's go. Wales versus Denmark. Does anybody know any Welsh people? Probably best to check their pulse right now, because they're probably having panic attacks on the kitchen floor, or stuffing their nostrils with Frosted Special K. Anything to distract them, because lads, this is big. Big Pete from Swansea is probably stuck in the toilet, having the most explosive bowel troubles of his life. There's probably lads from Wrexham smashing their teeth against the kitchen sink. Because Wales versus Denmark in Amsterdam. Lads, anyone who saw the fired up Danes utterly demolish Russia into wet spaghetti, the Welsh fans will be praying that these same motivated players will have spent the morning of the game in an Amsterdam coffee shop, because otherwise, oh, you're in for a world of pain. At the risk of sounding like a snooty columnist for Menstrual Cramps magazine, it's quite amazing how emotions can literally drive you through a tournament. Welsh fans will know this themselves. Their entire journey to the semi-finals in 2016 was partly driven by their tribute to the late Gary Speed. Now they're coming up against a Danish team who almost saw their best player and teammate die on the pitch. What emotional subplot do Wales have to fall back on this time?
Oh, let's do it for Ryan Giggs.
Really? That would be a bit like MTV dedicating this entire month to Chris Brown. Coming up against Denmark players doing it for Ericsson, cheered on by the emotional Danish wall, the Welsh players turning up to try and gatecrash that. It'd be like trying to tell jokes at a funeral. It won't go well for you. It's basically a battle of the Leicester goalkeepers. And lads, crucially, the Welsh fans are currently being turned away at the airport. Wales' 12th man is the fans. But what help are the Welsh fans going to be stuck in a Costa Coffee at Amsterdam airport? Honestly, 2-1 Denmark, Mikael Damsgaard is going to score again, and Aaron Ramsey is going to cry in the centre circle. Mark my words. Italy versus Austria. Arguably the easiest one in the list. Austria are facing an Italian side who haven't conceded a goal at this tournament yet. This is an Italian side who haven't lost any of the last 30 games. Really, these countries have only had one meaningless friendly since they met at the 1998 World Cup. Oh, and Austria haven't beaten Italy at all since December 1960. Oh, I remember it well, being trapped in my granddad's nutsack. To be honest, it's not as bad as being trapped in my uncle's shed. Lads, Austria don't have a chance. Italy are going to control possession. Manuel Locatelli will bag another goal before Lorenzo Insigne wraps things up in the second half. 2-0 minimum fuss. It's going to be a great night for Italians everywhere. The likes of Giorgio Armani, Gianni Versace, and Robert De Niro. As for Austria, sorry, I don't really know any Austrian celebrities. Joseph Fritzl? Netherlands versus Czech Republic. Most of you out there probably think there's nothing special about Netherlands versus Czech Republic. Lads, this fixture was the greatest game ever played at the European Championships. Back in 2004 when the Czech came from 2-0 down to win the game. This is a strange one, and I'll admit it. I thought there was more chance of me spending this summer giving Dumbledore a bath at Hogwarts than for the Czech Republic to make it out of the group. Aussie, Scotland fans right now must be pulling out their nose hairs. Because imagine if they'd just been given this tie in Budapest. Don't forget, they were just 3 minutes away from beating the Dutch 3 weeks ago. Here's a stat for you. The great Netherlands haven't won a knockout game in this tournament without the aid of a penalty shootout since beating Yugoslavia 21 years ago. For the Czechs, it's been an 18-year wait. So whoever wins this knockout game, oh, it's probably like that 45-year-old janitor finally getting to make love to something other than his pillow. You know what? I don't rate Frank de Boer. I think he's got the tactical nous of a teapot, and if Ronald Koeman hadn't been seduced by Barcelona last summer, then this guy would probably be working part-time in a Dutch library. But anyone who saw the Netherlands sweep the group opposition aside knows the players are not listening to this man. Clearly, Gini Van Allen has just instructed everyone to zone out during his team talks because they're playing some brilliant attacking football. These aren't Frank de Boer results. If this was at school, teachers would be accusing him of copying other people's homework, because he's the type of student who'd probably spend his lunch hour drinking paint and using the art class scissors to cut his hair over a bin. Okay, I'll admit it, that was me. Let's face it, right now this Czech team are sitting ducks. I'll go for a 3-1 Dutch win here. At the full-time whistle, Patrick Schick is going to look like Willany after the Jackmate beef. Tears strolling down his face. Belgium versus Portugal. This is going to be the best game in the round. Belgium versus Portugal, lads, this is a mouth-watering tie. I know, about 20 years ago this would have been about as appealing as seeing Mark Goldberg having a naked mud wrestle with poor old Craig. But nowadays, lads, you can't move for top quality players. And if I'm wrong, I'll make you a deal. If this is a dour 0-0 draw, then I don't know, I'll eat an egg sandwich off the floor of an outside tennis court. Lads, one of Cristiano Ronaldo or Kevin De Bruyne is going to exit this tournament after just 4 games. I reckon Belgium are going to crumble like custard pie. Let's not forget, they've only ever won 1 knockout game with European Championships. Ever. Beating Hungary 5 years ago. That's it! That is it! That is your CV. Smashing Hungary to pieces. Right, that's like applying for a boxing license based on your resume of just beating up a bunch of 12-year-olds outside McDonald's. Portugal, by contrast, have won 8 knockout games, including the final in 2016. Football heritage. I'm sorry, but I can't look past Portugal's attacking talent here. It's going to be a great game, probably bleed into extra time before Ronaldo pops up with a late-headed winner. Just you wait and see. Croatia versus Spain. Croatia and Spain must be sick through the sight of each other. They're going to have played each other 3 consecutive European Championships, winning 1 apiece, and they also met twice in the Nations League, with Spain smashing them a 6-0 in Spain before losing 3-2 out in Croatia. That's neither of these sides are going to do anything major this tournament. Croatia have proven they still have world-class quality, but at times they look like an elderly priest team. Spain, on the other hand, I know they exploded with 5 goals against Slovakia, but in the other 2 games, looked about as toothless as a diabetic snake. Look, lads, Croatia are World Cup finalists. We've established they've been a top-class international team for about 15 years, right? Good Christ, they deprived England of even qualifying for Euro 2008. Yes, but lads, weirdly enough, they've never won a single game of knockout football at this tournament. Ever. Lads, back in their Euro 2008 quarter-final, Ivan Klasnic scores a goal to put them 1-0 up against Turkey in the 119th minute of the match, and they still managed to lose the goddamn game. Clearly, that very public example of having the mental fortitude of an empty yogurt pot has haunted them in this tournament ever since, but not anymore. Spain have utterly nothing to offer. It's a team in transition with another human lamppost like Alvaro Morata stumbling about up front. I'll go for a pretty dull and stale 1-1 draw, with the Croatians winning on penalties. France versus Switzerland. Switzerland and France meet again. Listen, France haven't exactly hit top gear this tournament yet, but they still have 100% enough to utterly blow the Swiss out of the water. Paul Pogba versus Granit what? There's absolutely no chance Switzerland have of knocking out France. Kylian Mbappe's finally going to get himself in the score sheet. They'll utterly wipe the Swiss as if they're a chunk of toilet paper. 3-0 France win in Bucharest. Minimum fuss. Moving on to the next round. England versus Germany. Yep. This is the one. England versus Germany.
So England now play Germany at Wembley in the European Championships last 16.
Incredible.
Doesn't get bigger.
No,
Doesn't get bigger.
Playing Germany, playing Portugal, playing France.
It's redemption from 1996. Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
England. It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
At Wembley against Germany
Southgate,
in a tournament. This hasn't happened since.
Oh, you can just see the moment it dawns on poor old Rory.
Yes, redemption for Gareth Southgate. Yeah, he missed a penalty at the Euro 96, didn't he? Oh, this is our moment. We haven't played Germany in a tournament since then.
Oh, haven't you? Have you not? Was I the only one who imagined your World Cup quarter-final in 2010? You know, the Frank Lampard ghost goal, Matthew Upson in defence, the 4-1 thrashing, which single-handedly turned Fabio Capello's stock into soggy marmalade toast. Maybe that's why his last job was out the back arse of China. England versus Germany. Let's just get this one out of the way. Because, good Christ, I know for the next week the telly is going to be filled with patriotic British flag waving. The BBC will probably dig up Winston Churchill's speech. Let's be honest though, this is an interesting clash. I think England are in better shape. Yes, I know Germany utterly exploded 4 goals against Portugal. Great, but let's not forget they were just 6 minutes away from finishing below Hungary. If Leon Goretzka's shot had just hit the post or deflected away for a corner kick, then Joachim Löw would have successfully guided Germany to back-to-back bottom place finishes at international tournaments, below the likes of South Korea and Hungary. Yes, I know he won the World Cup, but I do not care. Arsene Wenger guided Arsenal to an invincible unbeaten season, and yet Arsenal fans were still probably close to burning down his house in 2017. Honestly, Löw, Goretzka just saved your entire legacy as Germany manager. Since last September, Germany failed to beat Spain, Switzerland, Turkey, Switzerland again, lost 6-0 to Spain, lost 0 to North Macedonia, failed to beat Denmark, lost to France, failed to beat Hungary. This is a stumbling outfit. England, by contrast, have conceded just 1 goal in their last 9 games. 4 of your last 5 games have been 1-0 wins. If Italy were putting up that sort of record, you'd all be squealing about a great, typical Italian defensive masterclass. When Jose Mourinho put up those sort of results at Chelsea in 2004, he was rightly hailed as the best manager on planet Earth. Listen, I'm not saying Gareth Southgate is in the same I'm not even saying he's a good coach, but half of YouTube have knives out for this man. Why? Because he happens to look like a pony on smack? You've won 8 of your last 9 games. What do you have to complain about. I'm Irish. I would literally peel dead skin off my president's feet and eat it in a cheese sandwich. To even get a sniff of those sort of results for Ireland. Honestly lads, the Germans should be far more scared about this match than England. I reckon you'll get another clean sheet, but once again Harry Kane will stumble about like a punctured blow-up doll. Germany will offer utterly no attacking threat, but that's what happens when you have a former West Brom reject stuffed up front. Just kidding. I just wanted to see a few of you blow gaskets in your bread. Don't worry, okay? I know Serge Gnabry is world class. God, Tony Pulis must wake up in a cold sweat every morning. It'll be a goalless 0-0 draw. It'll go to a tense penalty shootout. You'll probably see Gary Lineker on the verge of heart failure in the studio before, yeah, why not? England broke their penalty shootout voodoo against Colombia, and so now at a home stadium being cheered on by Alfie and Thogden, they'll sneak through with a Declan Rice probably scoring the winning penalty, becoming this summer's Eric Dyer. Sweden versus Ukraine. You know what? I'm standing by Andrei Shevchenko coming out of this tournament as the manager linked with top jobs. Considering Tottenham, Everton, Crystal Palace still haven't appointed anyone, I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy wind up back in the Premier League by August. Although he doesn't really have fond memories of this league. While at Chelsea, he honestly looked like a cross between Emil Heskey and an over-bloated rubber duck. But listen, I know they unconvincingly stumbled their way through that easy group, but somehow they're still surviving, and I reckon they'll see off Sweden. Everyone is hyping Sweden up at this tournament. I remember similar hype after they came out of their 2018 World Cup group at the expense of Germany, and yet England were able to beat them in the quarterfinals with their eyes closed. It'll be a similar thing here. Ukraine will win 1-0, and I won't ever have to hear the name Pontus Jansson again. Anyway, that's it, guys. Let me know in the comments section below, what do you think? Let me know your predictions if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk shit a while.